everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's May 18th, 2024, and this is the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog news headlines for the week, introduce you guys to some new prog singles, and give you updates on the channel and what's happening here on Nathan on Shuffle. So, really interesting week. There's only a few items. I almost considered skipping the week because there wasn't many, but I felt like a lot of interesting things came about in the last couple days, so I wanted to make sure to do a show. But it might be more of a quick hit version, so I'm kind of hoping to keep this a little bit short. I have a lot of recording to do, maybe a big week on the channel of a lot of different kinds of videos, so should be a lot of fun, but in the interest of time, let's get into the news items and see what we got. So prog headline number 1, we've got Beardfish re-sign with InsideOutMusic and announce 15th anniversary vinyl release of Destined Solitaire. This is really cool news. I've been talking a little bit about Beardfish throughout New Music Weekly, and I talked about them being on the upcoming Prog cruise, Cruise to the Edge. So it's really exciting that the band's back together. They broke up back in 2016. They're one of my favorite prog bands, a Swedish prog band that I just fell in love with. And so it's cool that they're back out there, that they're officially signed to a label, they're officially going to come out with a new record, and they're going to re-release their album Destined Solitaire for the first time ever on vinyl, which is one of my favorites from their catalog. So already got mine pre-ordered. I'm really excited about it. You can go off and pre-order it as well. The release date for that album is July 19th, 2024. If you're not familiar, I would recommend you seek it out. It's just really great classic prog stuff that I just totally adore. I think Beardfish is one of the best. Very eclectic, very cool. Harken back to the classics, but definitely have their own flavor. A little bit of Zappa, a little bit of Gentle Giant, a little bit of, your classic Yes and Genesis, and swirl that in a blender, and you've got some really great Swedish prog on your hands. Second, somehow Yes always managed to squeeze their way into my news list. Yes announced a super deluxe edition of Fragile coming out. So this seems like a big package that could have a lot of interest for Yes fans. It includes a newly remastered version of the original album on both CD and vinyl, rare and unreleased recordings with fan favorite hits such as Roundabout and Long Distance Runaround, of course. Blu-ray disc completes the collection with Steven Wilson's 2024 mixes, including the album in Dolby Atmos and 5.1 makes DTS HD. Really cool big box set, 4 CDs, 1 LP, Blu-ray disc coming out on June 28th. June 28th, if you're interested. So a lot to look forward to as a Yes fan. As always, they always have stuff going on out there. Number 3, my favorite artist, just came out with a new album. This is Neal Morse, coming out with his singer-songwriter album Late Bloomer. More of along a folkier line, singer-songwriter kind of thing, not really proggy at all. And he's releasing it directly onto his streaming service that he put out there called Waterfall. So you have to subscribe to his exclusive streaming service to be able to hear it. But it did come out on May 17th, which is the day I'm filming this, but yesterday when I put this out. So it's out there on Waterfall if you're interested. Just autobiographical, him just talking about his life and his kind of folky, maybe slight gospel tinge sound. It's all done by him, I believe all the instruments and everything was produced by him. There are some female vocals peppered throughout, just background vocals and things, but besides that, I believe he did everything else on the record. So, and he's played some of these tracks at like exclusive Inner Circle events at his Morse Fests recently, so some people have heard some of these. So really just a cool collection of songs from one of my favorite artists out there. Definitely not prog, as I mentioned, but good quality music all the same. Another cool bit of news here, Return to the Earth announces their new album Stalagmite, Steeple, and release a single called Dark Morality. This is a cool UK-based prog band releasing their album on Giant Electric P on June 14th. Very much in the atmospheric kind of Pink Floyd, think like some of the more spacier Porcupine Tree kind of stuff as well. Steven Wilson, you've got a little bit of that flavor. Anathema, very ethereal, very cool, but dips its toes into a little bit of rock at times as well. Definitely right down the line of what I really like and what I'm sure a lot of you like, but a bit more atmospheric and, really allows time to develop space throughout these compositions. But a really cool project, something to look forward to, and an album that's coming out not too long from now. So you could check out the single. It'll be in my Prog singles list that I'll get to just in a second. And then one of my favorite bands is a U.S. prog rock band that has been around for quite some time, a band that I just absolutely adore and wish had more notoriety and was more well-known in the prog world. They have a new album coming out called Collapse the Wave, being released on June 11th. So it sounds like it's some heady concepts here, some really interesting themes, a deep exploration of existential themes, such as the death of the ego, the relinquishing of self, and the idea of parallel realities. So kind of like maybe a sci-fi tinge to this kind of lyrical content, but really cool stuff. And they have a single out as well, which I'll be mentioning very shortly here. So really cool band. Just wanted to give a shout out to them and point you in that direction if you're interested. In the prog singles list, pretty predictably, we've got a Neal Morse track already there from his Singer-Songwriter album, so you can check out a flavor of what you can expect from his solo record. Return to the Earth's Dark Morality, as I mentioned, really cool opening track from the upcoming record. Is their track There's Hope. These are all in the description, by the way. You can just click on the description on the video, and I've put in links to all these tracks. The Decemberists have a track called Oh No coming out. This is from their upcoming record, As It Ever Was, so it will be again coming out in June. So a little bit more of a poppier track, but really catchy, really fun, interesting instrumentation, just like they're known to do. So I wanted to point attention towards it. And then Eric Gillette has a new solo record coming out, and he has a track from it called Sensory Overload. Overload, yes. A brand new instrumental album. This is the title track, I believe, from it that I've put on the singles list, but the album is called Sensory Overload. An eclectic mix of songs clocking in at over 55 minutes, totally instrumental. Eric Gillette is well known as the guitarist for Neal Morse Band and has recently been part of Temic and their debut record. He's a member of that group, so incredible musician, and he plays a lot of different instruments and is just like a supreme talent. So I'm sure this will be high quality music to listen to here. He has pre-orders going out there. They'll begin shipping around June 14th, so not too long from now as well. And so definitely something to look forward to out there. So those are the items I have for you. I recommend you guys go into the description, check out these tracks. There's a lot of cool stuff to listen to that I think is really interesting. As for the channel this week, I was pretty excited and happy for how things went. Always fun to be able to talk about great new music. I talked about the new Lemon Twigs record, which I absolutely adore. Just think back to the classic 60s with Beach Boys and the Beatles and, all of those psych pop bands. And, you've got an idea of what to expect. It's just a fabulous record that I couldn't recommend more. It's just definitely a must listen for fans of that style of music. You can't go wrong. I did my ELP rankings, which were really fun to do. I think people really liked how that went. I got some pretty good comments on it. I was worried because I thought my ordering was a little bit controversial, but it turns out it's not quite so controversial. So I think people have been enjoying that. So if you're an ELP fan, please check out that ranking video. It was a lot of fun to put together. And I also did a kind of interesting little video. It didn't get really hardly any views, and I pretty much expected that. But I wanted to talk about an album that meant a lot to me when I was growing up as a teenager. It's Incubus's Morning View, and they re-recorded it recently, and I wanted to put that out there as kind of a retrospective on that album and also my thoughts on the new re-recording that they did of it. So point your way towards that if you're interested, but I know it's not really fully prog related, so I'm sure that's why a lot of people just kind of skipped over that one, but that's okay. And I have a fun week ahead on this, a fun week ahead for the channel. I hope you guys are excited to keep tuned in. Some more great Prog Song Sunday with Jana. We're reacting to a classic prog track this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing what I'm dubbing anti-clickbait week this week. Last week, Prog Corner, if you're familiar, his YouTube channel, he did what he dubbed clickbait week, where he just did these really hot topic videos that got a lot of views and a lot of attention. But I wanted to kind of do the opposite of some of the videos, because I felt like some of the videos trended a little bit towards the negative side, talking about bands he hates and overrated albums and things like that. So I kind of want to turn the coin a little bit and talk about some bands I love, some albums that I think are underrated, and just talk about my YouTube journey a little bit. And, I thought it could be a fun way to frame it, because I know we share a lot of similar subscribers, and so some of you watching this are probably familiar with his channel, so I thought it would be a fun little nod to one of my fellow YouTube friends out there. So that's what I'm planning this week, plus a review as well for a new album that I've really been digging that I want to share with you guys. So that's what's happening on the channel. So hopefully you enjoy this episode, maybe a hair shorter than the usual, but still a lot of items to catch up on and a lot of great music to talk about. So thank you guys so much for all that you do on the channel, and I'll hopefully catch you in a future episode. So bye everybody, enjoy the music.